In a second. We'll get you up here in a second. And we'll let you speak. We're gonna let some of our people come up in the space podcast and we'll get you up here. We know that a lot of people want to talk about this topic tonight. Just went live on YouTube as well, too, guys. For my people over there on YouTube, definitely go ahead and share out the space tonight. Share out the space. We're live on YouTube and we're live here on X as well, too. This is a Newstoter X/Twitter space. Tonight we're going to be talking about Representative from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar. There's been quite a ruckus, she calls, lately when she was saying that she was going to be putting the interests of Somalis first. So that's been quite the thing that's been trending on social media at this point in time. You have some people that's been calling for her to actually be expelled from Congress as well too. So a lot of people have a lot of resentment towards her at this point in time. We're going to be talking about that. I see we have a number of people in the space, number of people that don't normally attend the actual Newstoter space. It seems like we have a number of people of African heritage up in here, Muslim heritage as well too. And we welcome all you guys to the space tonight. We will keep order in here. I know that this is going to be a touchy situation. Some people feel a certain way about it. The actual video, I'm going to post that up in the actual Jumbotron as well too. I'm going to post that video up in the Jumbotron for those that have not gotten a chance to see it. And I see that you've already put it up there, Subaru. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get this thing rolling in just a second. We're going to get it rolling in just a second. Before I actually get it rolling, too, I'm going to actually read. I jotted down a little bit of what she was saying about that the video that was out as well, too. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a number of you guys to come up here. Get a number of you guys. I'm going to tell you, for those that's not used to it, one person speaks at a time. You raise your hand. We don't come off our mic. We don't cut other people off. We're not going to be doing a bunch of cursing in here. We don't curse in here. We're not going to be doing a bunch of screaming, calling people out their names. Everybody come up here, treat the person with respect. We'll allow you to speak. And that's going to be the rules for the night. If we can't get people to abide by the rules, and we're going to go ahead and drop them down in the actual listener section. And then we'll just go on and move on with the space. But we're going to have order up in here. Like I said, I know it's a situation where a lot of people feel a certain way about it, but we will have order up in the actual space as well too, guys. So let me go ahead real quick. I want to go ahead and I see we got Subaru. Let me go ahead and keep a track of the people that's actually coming up here to speak as well too. Subaru, I got you. You're going to be the first speaker.
Thank you.
Hold on, Subaru. Abraham. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but I got you next as well, too. So you'll be up here. And real quick, before I get to you, I'm going to go ahead and touch up on the actual video. I took a little shorthand notes of what she was saying, paraphrase some of it as well, too. It was a 3-minute video. She talked about being Somalian first. She said Muslims second, coming to the aid to protect other Muslims. She talked about people who call themselves Somalis. Somaliland. She speaks on Ethiopian access to the sea. She talked about Somalians have called her to encourage her to speak to the United States government to thwart the MOU and help Somali. They want to know what the U.S. could do for Somali to ensure the MOU never turns into a full bilateral agreement. She said her answer was that the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interests of Somalia. She also said we Somalians must have confidence in ourselves that we call for the shots in the U.S. We live in the U.S., pay taxes in the U.S., and have a real voice. The U.S. is a country where one of your daughters, myself, is in Congress to represent your interests. For as long as I'm in Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters, the Indian Ocean, will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. The U.S. would not dare to support anyone against Somalia to steal our land or oceans. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from the inside the U.S. system. The woman, myself, you sent to Congress is working day and night to protect your interests. She says she knows your plight and that of Somali. Together, we will protect the interests of Somali. President Hassan has done a great job of looking at the Somalia. Mr. President, you have done an excellent job fighting Ethiopia and Somaliland, and we are happy about it. You spoke to Somalis across the world that you are there to look at the Somali. You are there to look at the Somali. However weak Somali is or failed state, we Somalians are resilient people. We can fight against all odds. People who love their country. We will never allow people to steal our land. That was her words. That was the video that's up in the Jumbotron. Subaru, don't Subaru Abdul, don't flood the Jumbotron. You guys got some stuff up there, so we already got the video of her up there. We don't need no more stuff up there. I'm gonna allow you guys to speak. I'm gonna allow everybody to come up here, speak, get your say in. Subaru must have dropped down. So what was it? The gentleman with the person with the hand up. I don't want to mispronounce your name. Abdurrahman, you go ahead and speak. You got it.
Yes. Yeah, this issue was a very personal when I say it.
Hey, do you have a headset on? Yeah, if you have a headset on, take your headset off because we can't. We're streaming this on YouTube as well, so we need anybody with a headset. We want to hear you loud and clear. If you got a headset, take it off. If you take your headset off, you can go ahead and.
Is it better now?
Much better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying she used the U.S. might to threaten war with 3 or 4 countries in the surrounding areas. But even worse, IlhanOmar, I think actually chose to go against her oath of office. She promised to be loyal to the United States and not to, foreign countries and foreign entities. When she became a citizen, she also swore an oath to, be loyal to the Constitution of the United States. Her attitude and her, beliefs and her actions have proven, especially the speech has proven, that she's willing to usurp U.S. power and act as a foreign agent for other countries on behalf of other countries. And hide behind the U.S. So that's my opinion is that her speech was quite shocking. Actually, that she's still allowed to be in Congress while acting like that. I'm done.
If you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm also from. I'm from Africa. Actually, I'm from Somaliland, the country she threatened. Where she said, territory belongs to us. And, it's quite concerning to me that my country is being threatened by a U.S. congressman.
Okay, I appreciate you coming up here. I will say I'm in agreement with a lot what you said. Here's the thing. She is a U.S. congresswoman, and she's talking about the interests of a foreign nation. Now, I know she's supposed to be Somali. Now, I heard she got upset with people saying Somalian, but throughout that actual video she mentioned Somalian I don't know how many times. So she herself says Somalian, but she has an issue with. Yeah. Real quick. Yeah. Hold on. Real quick. Don't interrupt the actual host, especially while I'm speaking, making the points. Keep your mic muted, and I'll get back to you. Just raise your hand, and I'll get back to you. And also, like I said, make sure your headset's not on because you sound low. But I'll get back to you in a second. But this is a sitting U.S. Congresswoman that's sitting up here talking about the interests of a foreign nation, even though that may be her homeland. She's talking about the interests of a foreign nation, and she's talking about what the United States has got to do and this and that. And she's saying that the interests and whatnot, that's not how it works. Her interest as a United States Congresswoman, first and foremost, is the United States of America. Now, if anybody disagrees with that, because I saw somebody putting their thumb down, request the microphone to come up here. But she is a sitting U.S. Congresswoman in the United States of America. She is not a Congresswoman in Somalia. So first and foremost, her constituents are not just strictly the Somali population in Minnesota as well, too. Her constituents are U.S. citizens in this country. So first and foremost, she has to go ahead and she has to think about the interests of America first and foremost. If she doesn't want to think about the interests of America first and foremost, then she's welcome to to go ahead and leave Congress. That's how it works. So I have no issue with her being a proud person representing her heritage, anything like that. But you can't sit up here and say that you call the shots in the United States of America and that the U.S. is going to do what you say and this and that or whatever. That ain't how it works. That is not how it works. So, That's the issue I had with it, amongst a bunch of other things as well too. And that goes for any, and too many times we're seeing that in politics right now. Too many times that you have people and the United States is fighting all of these different wars because you have all these different groups in Congress saying exactly, well, you know what, this is our homeland. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do that. We got Ukraine going on. We got the Israel going on. So we got to go ahead and we got to fund all of these different wars and conflicts and everything else like that, taking sides. And really, the United States needs to step back and let people patrol and govern their own affairs. We don't need to be the police for the entire world. Let people go ahead and resolve their own conflicts without us getting involved. And it seems to me, like I said, she was sitting up here and she was saying the interests, she's here to protect the interests of Somali. I just don't know how you can do that as a United States Congress person. I don't know how you can protect the actual interests of a foreign nation, whether you were born in that nation or not, when you're actually a representative of the United States Congress. Now, Edna, I know you requested to come up here and speak. I know you was thumbing down. Did you have something you want to add? Edna, are you there? Okay, Edna disconnected. I don't know if Edna is still here. Edna, you disconnected. Did you want to speak? Anybody wants to come up here and speak? And I see we have a number of people up in the space. Some people that are not usuals up in the space as well, too, guys. So if you want to come up here and speak, Reverend Tim is from actually up in the in that area up there as well, too. Reverend Tim, I know you sent me some information yesterday. I didn't get a chance to read it, but definitely, if you definitely want to go ahead and speak, definitely. Edna, are you in the space? I know you came up here to you had your thumb down, you requested to speak. Is there anything you want to say at this point in time? Okay, Edna dropped down. Maybe Edna will come back up here. Like I said, we saw her saying that, and I see, and we have Somalia against Pan-Africanism is up in the space as well too. So it'd be interesting to hear what Somalia against Pan-Africanism has to say. But yeah, that's not how politics works. I mean, first and foremost, your loyalty is supposed to be to the country that you're living in. She lives in the United States of America. If she wanted the United States to aid Somalia, then you need to go ahead and put that in word that completely different than what you're saying. You're sitting here and you're saying that your interest, that you're a U.S. Congresswoman, and you're sitting there saying that your interests are to a land that you no longer live in. That's not how politics works in this country. And we know, and we had a bunch of different tweets and quotes today talking about this actual conversation tonight. Let's see if we can get Edna up here now. I see Edna. I don't know if Edna's having some issues, but we'll see if we get Edna up here. Edna, are you ready to speak?
Hi there, sir. How are you? I'm sorry. You gave me the speaker, but it didn't show, so I had to restart my phone.
Okay. You want to speak?
Yeah, I think I misunderstood you. I'm also from the Republic of Somaliland, and we have issues with Ilhan Omar. He's trying to hide our territorial integrity and our independence. So my message is to the Somalilanders in the United States of America. We should not think that anybody is above the law, and I think we should take her to court, because this lady, her intent was genocidal on the Isaac people of the Republic of Somaliland. Thank you so much.
All righty. Thank you. Anybody else that wants to come up here, raise your hand. We'll get to you. So far, guys, we've had a couple folks from Africa that came up here, Somaliland. We got any Black Americans that want to speak on it as well? Definitely feel free. We got anybody else that wants to speak? Definitely come up here. I see Lian. Is it Lian? Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. I'm from the Republic of Somaliland. This video that was translated is nothing new to Somalilanders. We know what IlhanOmar is. We already knew that from our own president and what she had done to our government when they went to America, as she was on the Foreign Affairs Committee. She took private documents from the Foreign Affairs Committee and handed it to the government of Somalia, right? This is a lady that sits in Congress and then caused a war. It has ended now, right? Because I don't believe her speech was so much passion about Somalia. I think it was so much more hatred towards Somaliland. Now, just to give you the backstory, Ilhan Omar is not a refugee. Her father committed genocide where nearly 1 million people died. And then when her father, I think he was a general or a colonel, what's the word? General, right? So this guy worked for Said, the dictator. And then when the people overthrew him, because she was the oppressor, she was not oppressed, right? She fled to America as a war criminal, okay? And this is her father. So we as Somalilanders already know what she is. We already know who she is. We already know who she works for. And even her speech, it was ethno-racism, whereby she says these people that claim to be Somalis, we don't know what they are. Like even her hatred in her speech was genocidal. You know, it was along many decades of identifying our specific land, which is 85% of Somaliland, right, that ethnic group, as Jews and as not Somalis, which was the same rhetoric they used to commit genocide. Yeah. So when she gave that speech and she said those people that claim to be Somali, we knew exactly what she meant, right? So Donald Trump knew this. Okay. He said this lady from Somalia, you know what I mean? Like she's not what he always said about her, he was correct on it. You have a lot of people that were war criminals in Somaliland that committed genocide that moved to America and that are today now your police officers, now sit in your Congress. I live in the United Kingdom, so we know who these people are, okay? So obviously your issue is that you should put Americans first, and our issue as Somalilanders is that you have a lady in America that is a danger to the Horn of Africa and the stability there. She should not have that job. Matter of fact, you should really look into her immigration papers. I know she said she married her brother, but you should look at her father. Is she really a refugee, and does she qualify for asylum, or was she the perpetrators of genocide? She's not a victim. Yeah? So that's all I wanted to say. This lady is a danger to the Horn of Africa. My president went there to America. He's an elected president by our people in Somaliland. He was elected, right? So when he was elected, he went to America just to talk about making a relationship with America, security in the Horn of Africa. As you know, Somaliland doesn't have pirates, doesn't have Al-Shabaab, doesn't have terrorists. We don't have difficulties. We just live in peace, right? This lady was sitting there in the Foreign Affairs Committee, and we have the pictures and the documents of everything that she did, right? And we also have her sitting next to Somalia, people that are called Jews, pigs and monkeys, descendants of pigs and monkeys. So the same type of rhetoric that they used against us. But we're not Jews, we are Muslim, but they use that rhetoric, right? She's sitting right next to him. So all I'm trying to say is that you guys are American, but to us she's a clear danger, right, to the stability in the Horn of Africa. 2 months after she delivered the documents and told the government, do something about these people, 2 months later a conflict started where they beheaded our soldiers, the same soldiers America trained, and your taxpayer money, because none of that money goes to my government, Somaliland. It goes to Mogadishu. Those soldiers that you trained to fight terrorists, the Turkish trained them, right? We're fighting my soldiers. We are an independent government. We don't get money from other countries, right? And if you give money to the government of Somalia, it doesn't come to us. It's your taxpayer money that goes to them, and their soldiers are decapitating our soldiers. They're torturing our soldiers. They captured our soldiers. These people are terrorists. This is the people. 2 months later, what they did. 2 months after she left, this is what they did. Okay, so to us, she's a clear danger. I understand respectfully you have your own interest that you should put the American interests first, but given the fact that she is the child of a man that committed genocide, I don't think it's a love that she has for Somalia. I think it's a hatred that she has for my ethnic group, for my country, for Somaliland, the Republic of Somaliland, and even the way she spoke, it was very like, it's like ethno-racism. It's very racist, like these people that claim to be Somalis and kind of insinuating we don't know who they are. The same rhetoric that they've done in the past, saying that we are the descendant of Jews and these different types of people. 1 minute we're descendant of Oromos, next minute we're descendant of Jews. So it's that rhetoric. Although we are 100% Muslim, although we are Somali, it's the rhetoric, right? So it's like, I don't know why she's in your Senate. I'm just confused. So that's all I wanted to say, and I would like Edna to follow up from that. Is that all right?
Well, real quick before we get to Edna, let me go ahead because and anybody that's up here in the speaker section, put your hands up, raise your hand so we can know who wants to speak. I'm gonna go to FBA, then I'm gonna get to Abanias, I believe the name is. I'm sorry, guys, if I mispronounce your name tonight, forgive me for that. TASD, we're gonna get to them as well too. And if Edna wants to speak, Edna, go ahead and raise your hand. I want to go ahead and get to some new speakers, guys. I want to let everybody, you see the title of the actual room, the space tonight. We're talking about Ilhan Omar and her putting Somali's interests first. Before I get to FBI, I just want to say that, yeah, I feel you on your pain about your countrymen, and you feel that she's trying to use the U.S. to militarize and go ahead and maybe cause a conflict or intervene on Somalia's behalf. As U.S. citizens over here, we feel like, hey, you can't come over here and sit in Congress and start talking about you're worrying about the interests of a foreign nation over the interests of this country right here, with taxpayer dollars and everything else, that you guys benefit from. So that's the issue that we're having right now, that, hey, you're here in America, first and foremost. Nobody's saying disrespect your homeland, but we're saying this right here. If you're coming over here and you sit in Congress, you're here to do America's business first and foremost, and you're not here to do somebody else's business. And you're sure not going to sit up here and say that you're calling the shots and you pay taxes. And it's like 1% of y'all make up maybe 1% of the whole damn population, talking about you calling the shots and this and that. And the U.S. wouldn't dare do this and dare do that. We have an issue with that right now. So I feel your pain over there in your homeland. Who's speaking? Who's speaking? Who's speaking? Who's speaking? Who's speaking? Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
It's Somali. It's me.
Somali, I'm gonna let you go ahead and because you cutting in front of. Let me get.
I just want to go real quick though about
Go let FBA. Hold on. Let FBA against Biden, and then I'll get to you, Somali. I got you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I can't remember her father's name, but everything I said before about the genocide and all that stuff from that side is all the way true. But Ilhan, can't say her name. Omar, she always been a traitor to whomever she can to benefit herself. If you remember when all the police shit, when it happened down in Atlanta, and folks was talking about boycotting, Atlanta baseball, whatever, the Braves, she said we'll bring them up to Minnesota. So she ain't good, point blank, period. And she'll stab you in the back with the quickness. So I definitely believe that what she said, it actually goes against, the 14th Amendment. She's basically speaking as a secessionist ready to commit treason. So how can she be sitting on Congress and have her allegiance to another country? So I definitely believe that what she said and the heat that it's getting is something that's about to get her up out of the Senate.
All right.
The House.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead real quick and get to and guys, just raise your hand. We'll get to you. Somali, Pan-African. I'm gonna let you cut in here real quick because you are Somali. But go ahead and I'm gonna let you.
I'm just gonna be quick and fast. Ilhan Omar is trying to use the American military, the American killing machine, to wage war against Somaliland and Ethiopia. She is a travesty. She is a hazard. She needs to be expelled and deported. She is crazy. And I want to say this to you, Black Americans. It's not us Somalis that are controlling city government in Minneapolis. It's one clan, and guess who clan runs Minneapolis city politics? It's hers. Ilhan Omar just needs to be expelled and deported. I swear to God, I'm so fucking mad.
Hey, don't curse, don't curse. But go ahead.
I'm telling you, was calling for the extermination of the Ishaq clan, and she is talking about invading other African nations, and she wants to use the American war machine to go into Africa and to wage tribal warfare. I am sick of her. I want her expelled, and I want her deported. And I want to say this. I never really agreed with you Black Americans on immigration, but learning more in these spaces and understanding folks like Ilhan Omar, I want her out. And I'm starting to agree that Americans who've been in the country for 3 or more generations should be in power, not idiots like Ilhan Omar. How dare she wage war on my clan? I am sick of her. I am sick of. That's all I want to say about it.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Ahmad. I'm gonna Ahmad. I'm gonna call Ahmed. I'm gonna call you Ahmed. Go ahead, Ahmed. You got it.
Are you referring to me?
Yes, yes. I had a hard time pronouncing your first name.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Actually, the speech of Ilhan Omar was very alarming. She intended to do a genocide in Somaliland because she referred as people who claim not to be Somali. So when you say you do not claim and then say the land does not belong to you, she wants to erase us from the land. And this is the playbook of her father. Her father tried to do a genocide in our people. He wants to eradicate us, and she's repeating the same thing. So she did, she has an intent to do a genocide using the American money, using the American power, empowered by Americans. So we see her as a threat, and the position that she is using is threat to our people, to our country. So she must be stopped. And also, I want to emphasize that Somaliland and the United States are getting better relationships. And when she's in that position, she used against us because she's the circle of the Congress, and she used her position to serve Somalia, to serve her people, to subjugate us. So when the American interest comes first, she will use in discourse of American congresswoman serving in another country as an agent for another country. So that's also something that American people should know and to avoid her. And also I want to emphasize, she is expressionist. Her father, the government that her father was member, was the Siad Barre government, and Siad Barre invaded Kenya, invaded Ethiopia. He wanted to alter borders. He wanted to change borders. So she wanted to do the same because she said, we will get back our land that are in Kenya, that are in Ethiopia. And also, she said, I'm here for you, whatever you want. The Americans will listen to us, will listen to me. I will only do the job of the Somali government, of the Somali people, which means I will refuse anything that Somaliland people deserve, which is recognition, which is to be part of the world, which is to get protection for another genocide. She wants to change the global order. She wants to change boundaries. She is someone who is threat to the global order and the lives of millions of people in Africa, especially in the country. I'm done.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate that. We got some of our American folks coming up here as well, too, guys. We want to hear what you guys think. We see some of our usuals up in here as well, too. Shout out to Black Majority State. He just came up here. We want to hear what you guys got to say. We're hearing what the continent of Africa has to say about Ilhan Omar, but we also want to hear what our Black Americans, because like she totally pretty much laid down exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and the control that they have and this and that or whatever and what we need to do and how you got to get in line. I mean, she gave a lot of orders. She was barking out a lot of orders about, the actual power and everything else that needs to be done in this country as well too. So we definitely want to hear what some of our Black Americans got to say as well too, guys. So definitely come on up here, up in the Jumbotron. I put the actual, I got a poll up in there, says, should Ilhan Omar be expelled? That's on the left-hand side. I think we got close to about, we got 332 votes in there. So guys, it's on the left-hand side. Also, I did a tweet earlier today. That's also another one says, should she be expelled? Another post saying the exact same thing. Check that out as well too. That's up in the Jumbotron as well too. Let me go ahead and get to TASD, then I'm gonna get to Lynn Mack, and I'm gonna get to Reverend Tim as well too.
Yeah, Newstoter, thanks for letting me speak on your platform here, man. So
No problem.
I want to make several points quick, and then get off the stage. The first one is to the Somali people in the room. Y'all can see why we have several nomenclatures, why we have several names for our community here. And I'm going to say that the reason why we're known around the world as African Americans is because we're the only Black people on the planet who have shed our primitive tribalism and have included all Black people globally into our community and our family. Now, recently, in the last, 5 to 6 years, we've noticed that nobody else, nor the Black people, are playing by that game to their detriment. And so a lot of our people in our community, there's sects that's popping up who have decided that it's just not beneficial for our community to identify with the global African community because no one else has the intelligence to the social intelligence and the political intelligence to shed their primitive tribalism and join the Black family. So we are the only Black people on the planet globally that puts Black first, whether you are Somali, whether you're Jamaican, whether you're Haitian, or from any Black country. And that's the reason why this lady can rise the ranks of politics in the United States and become one of the most senior officials, is because of the unity of the African American community. And I say that with no disrespect to my brothers in the tribe that have decided that they want to delineate, rightfully so, because no one else is showing that social or political intelligence. And it seems to be an anchor. It seems to be dragging us down. Now, I want to segue into the fact that if you're one of these Somalians on here who, railing against Omar, rightfully so, what I would tell you is you guys need to drop this primitive tribalism. I know it's tough, but you need to drop this primitive tribalism that you have going on in Somali and Somaliland, and you need to find like minds in Ethiopia, like minds in Kenya, like minds in East Africa, in Sudan, who's about Black first. See, that's at the core of your problem, is that you come on the app and it's, oh, she's this, she's that, this tribe wants to destroy us. We all see you as the same people, and the rest of the world sees you as the same people. You're the ones putting these divisions, these tribal divisions, primitive tribalism, that you talk another language and you wear another type of garment. So that's justification for you to wipe each other out. Instead of dropping these petty, trivial divisions that only cause chaos and death in your country. So I want you to take that energy that you put in fighting. If you're from Somalia or Somaliland, take that energy that you put in fighting other Somalis who speak different from you, or maybe dance different from you, and start to connect with other Africans, because everyone in Ethiopia isn't against your tribe. All right, there may be a tribe in Ethiopia that's against your tribe, but there's tribes who identify with your tribe. Because at the end of the day, all of this is a fallout from European colonialism. You have these coons, these traitor tribes that were working for the Europeans and killing other black people, killing other tribes next to them for the benefit of being the head tribe in charge, what we call here in the United States the head nigger in charge. See, we're all dealing with this, these coons and these traitors. It's just that we see the big picture over here. And as long as you all keep this primitive tribalism up, where it's, oh, they're trying to kill us and we're trying to kill them, and you don't broaden your gaze, widen your scope, and understand that this is going on all over Africa, this type of tribalism is going on all over the Middle East, this type of tribalism is going all over the Caribbean, because this is the game they play, this divide and conquer. We're going to take the Congressional Black Caucus and have them vote for the 94 drug bill. We're going to point to the Africans who sold Africans in slavery and then pit them against each other. You all need to wake up and realize this is the game that's being played. We cannot allow you all to play stupid anymore, because it's becoming a detriment to us. You see it spilling over now. This lady is bringing her primitive tribalism from Africa over here. Not only that, they're fighting in Minnesota. You got, I'm not too privy to the tribal fights that I see in Minnesota, but I've kind of seen some pop up where you have these Somali tribes in Minnesota bringing their primitive tribalism from Africa to the United States to fight each other. So it's becoming a detriment globally now, and we have to nip this in the bud. The last point I'm going to make is that if we're going to admonish Ilhan Omar, then we need to really, point out the elephant in the room. No American should put any other country or foreign power first. And that goes for Ilhan Omar, and that goes for these dual citizens of Israel in the Congress and in the Senate. Now, I'm totally okay with expelling Ilhan Omar if she's not loyal, if her loyalty is not to the United States. That's another question, another point, though. But as far as she's in the Congressional Black Caucus, so she definitely needs to be kicked out of the Congressional Black Caucus, first and foremost, because that caucus is for the interests of the American Negro, first and foremost. So if she wants to play African games and, she's representing Africa, fine. It's up to the greater Congress to kick her out of Congress. But as far as the Congressional Black Caucus, that's our business. It's up to us. A petition needs to be made to kick her out of the Congressional Black Caucus, first and foremost. But these Jews, these white Jews, the Israeli lobby, AIPAC, the same goes for them. What's good for the geese is good for the gander. America first. If they have dual citizenship, dual loyalty to any other country, if we can't speak ill against another nation because they're lobbying Congress, then those congressmen, those senators should be kicked out of office. So they should be stripped of their power. And I'll end my plane there. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you coming up here. Thank you. Up in the Jumbotron, guys, we got the YouTube channel that's on the far left-hand side. It's a number of you guys that's new to the actual Twitter space. If you have not, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's on the far left-hand side. It's up in the Jumbotron. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel while the actual space is going on. Let me go ahead and get to who was it? Ilhan, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, lean. It's Somali. It just means orange. But yeah. So he's talking about like tribal stuff and tribalism. Okay. It's good that you've welcomed people, but it's not really my fault that America welcomed a lot of genociders. The history of Somaliland, if you look at Malcolm X, he mentioned Somaliland. Somaliland is not a succession state. It existed. It was inspiration for Malcolm X, and he said he wanted to fight for it because Somaliland is a Pan-Africanism. And also Marcus Garvey of Jamaica wanted to send a delegation from Somaliland. So there's a lot of history there that you're not aware of. The problem was that obviously we were not colonized. I think like the United Arab Emirates, we were a protectorate, right? That means we signed treaties with them and ran our own countries. And then there was the Italian part, which was colonized, and it was basically a form of like slavery. So when you see people that look like you being oppressed, you have an empathy towards them and you want to free them. So we requested from the British government to end our protectorate, and then on the 26th of June, 1960, Queen Elizabeth and the government of the United Kingdom declared us as a country. So Somalia Italiana, because they were Italian, they were told you cannot like become a country, you do not qualify for statehood, and the only way to get them out of these colonizers, because at the time you have to remember 45% of 55% of Somalia are non-ethnic Somalis that speak different languages. Somali is a language, and we're different ethnic groups. It's just a language, right? So these people were actually taught the language, but we look similar. We're kind of similar. We're in the same region. So we took them on the 1st of July, 1960, out of a UN trusteeship. But then it has to go through Parliament to ratify a union, and about 97% voted against it, wanted to be their own country. Somalia decided to take recognition papers and apply for UN seat under the British Protectorate of Somaliland, put down Somalia Italiana because it was an Italian word made by colonizers. They were known as Adran people. They were never known as Somalia. And they took our ethnicity as Somali in our language and said, we are now the head state. So we took them out of that. It was a good gesture, goodwill. So it was not intended to be like tribalistic as you presume it to be. But what happened was nothing but oppression from 1960 to 1980, where it was a planned genocide. Yeah?
What I'm telling you is that that issue is not exclusive to you.
Wait, hold on, TSD. Let her go ahead and finish up.
So what happened was...
Now, Lynn, we don't want to go too far. I know you're doing the history of it.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
You're saying you're bringing tribalism, but you're dealing with people that had to flee in the 19s and the 80s, and they created a country and their own country and removed the dictatorship. And IlhanOmar was one of the people whose father was killing people. So when they were removed and they put landmines everywhere, it took us 10 years to remove them. They killed so many people. There was, when I tell you it is a government against these people, I mean the people that were not even born in Somaliland were being called back to the country, to Mogadishu, even though we're not from there, we're from Somalia, to be killed. A lot of people. So it was a government against its people. Do you understand that? So the problem is pre-Somalia and Italiana, before that, there was never issues. People loved each other. Now all of a sudden, the worst names and these people, we don't know what they are. They must be descendant of Jews. They're not really Somali. Although we taught them the language, no thank you. Although we gave them the independence, just ask IlhanOmar, where are your independence papers from the Italian? It doesn't exist because the Somalilanders freed them. Yeah? So we're Pan-Africanists, okay?
Yeah, well, so your issues are not exclusive.
Hey, TSD, because you went for a while.
We don't have issues.
And Lynn, real quick, Lynn, because like I say, real quick, because we got a number of hands up as well, too. So I'm going to let you get ready to land it so we can we want to try to stay. Well, hold on real quick. I know we're talking about the history and he's talking about the tribalism as well, too. So, but real quick, we want to stay on topic about IlhanOmar as well.
Okay, I just want to let you know what the difference between tribe and clan. Tribe and clan means you have the same father, same mother, you descend from the same people. We don't, so we're a different ethnic group. We are 85% of Somaliland, so we don't really have tribalism issues. There are minorities that they try to, like IlhanOmar did, they're 7% of the country, to start a conflict and kill people and do that, they're 7%, okay? So that's under control now. We have relationships with Ethiopia today. because they're landlocked and they have 120 million people. They need access to the sea. Somalia won't do it. Eritrea, they have issues with them. Djibouti, Chad has done billions. So we made an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between our brotherly nation, Ethiopia. Just remember, just because they're Somali don't mean nothing to me. Ethiopia, with my people being killed, gave us safety.
Okay, Lynn, we're gonna have to. Okay, we have to land. I'm gonna give you 20 seconds to land it.
Okay, so all I want to say is that the problem is America and the American people. You are the only nation in the planet Earth that have welcomed genociders without fact checking if they're really refugees, and now they're in positions to affect the politics of the region between Somaliland and Ethiopia. That's going to benefit 120 million people, the 10 million people of the Horn of Africa. We invested nearly $500 million in that pool. It's going to create a better economy. It's going to create jobs. It's going to create security, because we have pirates from.
Okay, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to land it now.
So the problem is you invited genociders and they're affecting us. So can you deal with that? And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. And like I say, guys, I know everybody wants to do the history lesson as well, too, which is fine. I don't mind some history just for contextual purposes as well. But we want to go ahead and we want to stay on the actual topic as well, too, as Ilhan. So we want to go ahead and stay on her as well, too, because it's about her. I think one thing TSD was saying was that you got a congresswoman sitting up here and she was blowing dog whistles trying to go ahead and get the U.S. to go ahead and intervene in whatever conflict that you guys got going on over there in the Horn of Africa. She's trying to go ahead and get the United States government and army to go ahead and intervene as well, too. So that's what he was saying about the tribalism and this and that or whatever, because for the most part, I would think that Somalia and Somaliland, you're pretty much all the same people. You know, I know you have different tribes and ethnicities, but you're not really that different in terms of who you guys actually are. So that's what I think he was trying to point out as well, too. Let me go ahead and get to the next speaker, guys. We got a number of hands up here as well, too. So, guys, I'm going to tell all the speakers, let's try to go ahead. I don't mind you straying off the topic some, as long as it's going to get back to IlhanOmar and the actual situation, the actual title of the actual room. I don't mind you using some history just to go ahead and tie things in, but we want to go ahead and we want to keep up on the actual topic as well, too. Let me go ahead and get to Reverend Tim. Reverend Tim, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's an awesome thing. Hey, first off, the young lady that just finished speaking, thank you for that. I want to say that because I'm right here with everything that's going on, and we're trying to understand what is actually going on. So what she brought to the table tonight definitely helped me. Maybe it didn't help anybody else in the room. I don't know. But for us to understand where these people are going and what they're trying to do, we need to understand where they came from and how they really, really are thinking. So let me do this here real quick. She came in during the George Bush era, when we were fighting. The black church here in Minneapolis was fighting to keep them out of Minnesota. The white Christian church, the Jewish church, are the ones who sponsored all of these people who came here. And she is definitely right. Nobody was vetted. They went over there, they loaded all those people up in those airplanes, and they flew them and drop shipped them right here to Minnesota. And they've been doing it ever since. We don't know if they've ever been to jail. We don't know if they're part of the whatever tribe that's blowing up stuff. We have zero clue on these people, right? Well, this is what we have learned here in Minnesota. And what the white liberal did here in Minnesota is they set up little bags, money bags, and they only gave them to the what we call the gatekeepers here in Minnesota to keep the black people down and quiet. Now, over on Riverside for 4 to 5 blocks was all black community. All the black community was over there. Within the time they started moving Somali people into Minnesota, it had turned. All the black people ended up being shipped basically out of there over on the north side. Over here is where everybody is at now. But the Somali community runs from Washington. If you ever get a chance to look at a Minnesota map, go to South Washington, and it runs all the way down Washington, all the way down Blaisdell, all the way down Pillsbury. They've completely taken over what we call now Little Mogadishu. It's a high-rise tower that was basically black families lived in that tower. What the white liberals did here, the governor, the lieutenant governor, the House of Representatives, the senators, brought them in here to place them into certain places so they can move the vote in their favor. That's what they have done. They have taken over a place called, you look this up, everything I'm telling you, I want you guys to look this up. They have taken over a place called St. Louis Park. Let me tell you about St. Louis Park. St. Louis Park was the biggest Jewish community in the state of Minnesota. Okay? Rich, affluent. They have taken that over. They have moved these people over there, paid for them to move, paid for housing, paid for cars, given them money and some of everything else. To the point that there is a mayor right now who is Somali, a female, you would have never thought this in a million years, but they have taken it over. Not only that, they've also taken over St. Cloud. Look it up. St. Cloud was a really, really nice place to go. Now you can't go there. So you say, okay, what is the black people? Why has this happened on the Black Watch in Minnesota? Right? Again, let me show you. We have a black senator who basically sits on his hands and does nothing. He does nothing. He's the president of the Senate. The president, a black man now. He does nothing but sit back and let this happen. He's the money man for the so-called gatekeepers in the community. That they get together, black people get together, try to figure out how to get the bag, and then give a little bit out to people to keep their mouth shut. So nobody's saying anything. All the while, the Somali community is getting everything they got together and actually making moves while we are sitting back fighting each other over these millions of dollars that the white liberals are handpicking to give out. So while they are actually infiltrating our government, and if you look and see how many Somalians are on in the House, how many are in the Senate, how many are on the city council, how many have little seats in politics, you would be shocked. You would be shocked here. But it has happened because they have did everything they possibly can do to hold black people down. And then when black people run for certain seats, what they do is they don't give them money. They don't back them. The white liberals don't back them at all. So therefore, then you've got your Somalis that come in with their whole unit and basically take over. That's what has happened here. And they have gotten a foothold into Minnesota that you would not believe. If you came here and you go, where is the black community? You go right over there in that spot, in that little spot. Where's the Somali community? Oh, they got all of this here, and it's spreading, and they can do it because they have the backing of the white liberal here in Minnesota. They've got the backing of the Jewish community, the rich Jewish community in Minnesota. That's who feeds her. That's where she gets her money. When she runs for her seat, those Jewish people give her money. She's got so much money, it's not even funny. She will never be beaten. No one here can beat this woman because of the backing she has from the white liberal and from the Jewish people. Period, point blank. And we are in some desperate trouble. We are serious. The black community here in Minnesota is in so much trouble, it's not as funny. But we can't come together as a community. We can't come together as a community because they keep giving these little bags out, and the gatekeepers keep getting those bags and then holding everybody back. And if you run against anybody, and if they don't like you and you're black, you're not getting in that seat. You will not get in that seat. You will not do it. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So she's able to rise. Her people are able to rise because of the way they do politics here in Minnesota, man. I'm telling you right now. Y'all need to keep an eye on the way things are done here in Minnesota, because it's going to come to your, I guarantee you, if you got Somali people in your state, watch what happens. Watch what happens.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Tim. We're going to, because we got a bunch of hands up, guys, so we're going to be a little bit quicker to try to get to the speakers. So we may not let people go quite as long as we normally do because we got a bunch of speakers up in here. So if you go ahead and speak, we're going to probably keep it about 3 minutes so we can move to the next speaker. Once we get around and everybody can come back, and then, you can speak a little bit quicker and stuff like that. But there are a number of people up in here trying to speak as well, too. Before I get to the next speaker, I got Rella. I brought her up here as a co-host so we could go ahead and empty, so we can go ahead and leave one speaker space open. Rella, I don't know. Apia was up in here, but he thought that I kicked him out. Do you have Apia blocked? Is Rella in here? Rella got a hand up, but I don't know if she's in. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in here. I'm in here. I'm sorry. I was trying to post a video. Ilhan, I mean, you said who?
Apia.
Oh, probably.
Okay, because he thought I kicked him out of.
I don't know. It's
Okay.
I don't know what his do I need to unblock him?
Yeah, unblock him if you don't mind, because he
I do, but I will.
Yeah, because he was up here to speak, and I think when I made you a co-host, it must have kicked him up out of here. So yeah, unblock him so he can come up here and get a chance to speak, and I'll let him know.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll just block.
Hold on. Who's saying can I do what? Can I do what?
Can I just thank Reverend for letting us know what happened over there? Because we were kind of shocked, like you invited a lot of weird people in your country. So now that we know now what happened, so thank you for that.
Okay, Lynn, I'm going to say this right here, and it's true that America has gone around and have done all kind of jacked up, messed up things around the country. None of us in here will deny that. But let's not forget, too, before even America started getting their hands on Africa, you had Western Europe, and you had the Arabs and everybody else that went over there and did.
Sorry, Newstoter, I can't find his page.
Okay, don't worry. If I get a chance, I'll send it to you. There were, you guys know, you were actually colonized too by Western Europe as well too, Great Britain, and all of those Western powers as well too. So let's not also downplay what they've actually done to the actual continent over there, as well as the actual Arab rule. And
we were protected. We were not a colony. We were protected like the United Arab Emirates. We were not colonized. That means we were.
I'm saying the continent. I'm saying most of the continent, just about the whole continent, with the exception of Ethiopia, and that little small section over there was colonized. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, you are.
Okay, and let's not forget too that when they came to divide up the actual continent, when they came to go ahead and they came to divide it up and everything with colonization, that the Ottoman Empire played a big part in Ethiopia not being colonized by supplying them with guns and everything else as well too. Let's not also forget in World War II when you had the Italians come over there and they went ahead and they started to mobilize and take over parts of Ethiopia. It was the actual Italians, the way that they were actually doing the actual warfare, that you had the actual nations around the world that criticized Italy for the way they were bombing, and then the type of warfare they was using against that as well too. So let's not act like that. You didn't have some aid and stuff in helping without being colonized.
I have my country and my borders to protect it of Somaliland. These are my borders. They're not carved out. This is my land. It used to be called Ardul Somal. Before that, with the Audal Empire. So, I understand what you mean. They carved it up, but some people actually have had their land anyway. So.
Okay. Nonetheless, like I said, but before America started doing their dirt over there to the point that they did, you had Europe and you had the Arabs and everything else doing it as well too. And that's not to excuse Americans, because we know for the past 100 years they've had their hands in everything under the sun. But they came by it honest from their motherland, England. So I'm just putting that out there as well too. So yeah, America is something else, and we're not going to take away from that. But Africa's had some issues with the Portuguese, the French, the Dutch, the English, you name it. They've all been over there slicing up chunks of land, and to this day, a lot of the resources are still not in the actual people's hands as well too. So I just want to go ahead and put that part out there as well. Before I move on to Black Majority State, guys, let me also say it. I'll try to find a Pia's profile for you if I can. But those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Same for my people over there on YouTube. We have the Cash App on the actual screen, and the PayPal and Venmo is up in the actual description. Let me go ahead and get the Black Majority State. Black, how you doing tonight?
Hello, Newstoter. How is everybody doing? I'm glad you had this space. Let me give a shout out to the Reverend Tim and also Miss Lynn and others who spoke on the side of the Somaliland. And I appreciate that education. I did some research and people were talking, and I can see essentially what it sounds like occurred. The U.S. had interest in the conditions that were going on in that part of the country or that part of the world, and they chose sides, and the side they chose, or the side that Omar and her family were on, that's why those people ended up here. That's how the U.S. operates in all of these foreign interventions. They have spies, they have people who are loyal to the U.S., and when the country collapses, which is the ultimate goal, they then bring over their most loyal servants, essentially. What's happening in Minnesota with this population is a travesty, because it is directly displacing Black American descendants in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. And it's something that we need to be very, very, very wary of, aware of, and work against this person. To Reverend Tim's point, there is a gentleman who's running for that position. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I put it down here. It looks like this is the second time he's running against
His name
her.
is Don Samuels.
Don Samuel. So why could we not get a campaign together that would put him in position? Because it looks like he only lost by 2,500 votes. Like, there's not 25 or 3,000 more votes that we can get for this gentleman. He's an elder. If you know him and you can work with him, and if there is, even if you got to go to the Republicans, to get him some votes, what is it that we can do to help boost him? I know she just raised $1.6 million in the fourth quarter, to your point about how she's getting all this money, but
money can't beat votes. Like, if we have the numbers, we can win this thing. So how can we do that? And then again, looking at Somaliland and their quest to become recognized by the United Nations and others for the last 30 years, it looks like the pressure that's preventing that is likely coming from the U.S. And now that this person is in the U.S. Congress, it is very likely that she is behind any attempts to allow Somaliland to actually be recognized on the international level. You may have to decide to seek what I'll say are the adversaries of the U.S., and that may be those that are joining up with BRICS. That may be your only option at this point, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. The story that Miss Lynn relayed actually is a story that Black Americans are very familiar with. In many ways, I'm going to go back and listen to that, because as she was speaking, I was like, well, damn, this is exactly what happened to us in many ways here in this country. So again, I want to thank you. And if Reverend Tim, if you could speak to how we get this gentleman elected, I'd like to hear it for sure.
Real quick, Black, before we get to Reverend Tim, let me go ahead and get to some of the hands in here, because we got a bunch of people that's waiting to speak. So I'll come back to Reverend Tim and he'll get that question for you. But let me go ahead and get to some of the hands, because we got a bunch of people and a bunch of people that's been trying to come up as well too. So Black Pressure, are you still up in the space?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Pressure?
What's up, Black family? You know, News, Ray, DJ, all the usual suspects, Rella. I see Ray, I see Trouble, Black Majority. So let me start out by saying this, right? That Reverend Tim, everybody knows we love Reverend Tim. We love him. We appreciate you, brother, for that information. I'm down here in the South, so I don't know anything about the politics in Minnesota, so I appreciate that, right? But check this out. My speech is going to be the total opposite of what Reverend Tim said, right? So this is going to be harsh, but it's with love, and I'm not being facetious at all. I'm being deadly serious, right? So a couple of things. 1 second here, I'm sorry. A couple of things. I hear the Somali family. I promise. We hear what's going on. We hear your passion. We hear your anger, right? And I know you say that IlhanOmar was a part of a regime or a family that committed suicide, right? And we get it. I promise you. We sympathize. We empathize. We Black Americans really do get what you're going through. And you say, you allude to IlhanOmar has no moral compass, right? But I want to tell you this, and this is with love. If you have your trust in the American government that they're going to do something about it, you are sadly mistaken. Just like you guys believe that IlhanOmar has no moral compass. Newsflash, America has no moral compass. And like Black Majority said, if you think that America is walking around blindfolded and they have no idea what this woman's agenda is and what this woman's ideology is, once again, sadly mistaken. All right. So I'm gonna move on to that. I heard one of the young ladies, and I apologize for not remembering her name, but she made a declaration. She said that America was like the only nation to welcome genocidal maniacs with no fact checking. Are you serious with me? Have you heard of the transatlantic slave trade? What about those genocidal maniacs you welcomed into the continent and the havoc they wreaked on the earth after you let them in without any fact checking? I'm going to move on to another. Somebody brought up Malcolm X and Pan-Africanism. That statement was actually true, but let me set the record straight. Malcolm X was a Pan-Africanist, and Malcolm X did travel to the continent of Africa, and he got with a few African leaders to form an alliance, right? Newsflash. You know what they told Malcolm X? To kiss their goddamn ass, right? Everybody leaves that part out of the story. That is absolutely true. Malcolm cared about like the brother, I can't remember his name. I think he had an acronym, TASN or something like that. Malcolm X cared about, like, black people in America. We care about the black global family. Those leaders in Africa didn't give two pieces of damn about that, right? I'll move on from that. Somebody said where they're from in Somaliland, the government against his people. America's government is against his people. I'm not even going to go into the story of black people in America. That's self-explanatory, and if you don't know that story, you were born yesterday. And I think it's still not even an excuse if you were literally born yesterday. Everybody knows our story about a government being against its people. So please don't try to lecture us again about that. Please don't. It's totally disrespectful. And my last point, I want to say, this is going off my head. This is going off the top of my head. I might be wrong. Somaliland was established, I want to say, in the late 50s, early 60s. You guys can fact check me on that. I want to say more towards the early 60s, right? Let me give you a little crash course on 1960, 61, 62, what black Americans were going through, right? We were being eaten by dogs, blasted by water hoses. We were being hung from trees by our neck and buried in shallow graves. I want anybody, I challenge anybody from 1960 and up, how many residents of Somaliland came to our aid, either physically, through the media, through in any type of alliance with us when black people were going through that. But see how you tell your story and you want to sympathize and empathize? Do your history before you get in here telling us about what we don't know and what you're going through. You late to the party.
I'm going
I'll land my plane.
I'll find you directed.
Wait, real quick, Lynn, raise your hand. I'm going to get to you. Like I said, we're trying to get around to the room. We'll get to you. Just put your hands up and we'll get to you. Everybody, I want to tell everybody, stay on your microphones. You'll have a chance to respond. Like I said, we're trying to go ahead because there's a number of hands, a number of people coming up here trying to speak as well, too. So let us get around the room and we'll get back to everybody as well, too. Rella, it's on you, Rella. When you get a chance, I sent you his profile. So if you get a chance, go ahead and unblock him if you can. It's in your DM.
Okay. So thanks, Newstoter, and shout out to the space, Black Majority State DJ, Black Pressure, and of course my girl Trouble. And I see all the loved ones in here. I Am Money, Taxation, Ray. Oh my God, I miss Ray. Giving us his voice on stage, and definitely, Brother Black Delegation in the building. And to everyone, thank you for showing up. Ilhan has always given us her back to kiss. She does it in a way where she's not necessarily worried about, legislation, in the sense of making sure that there are protection laws for the descendant community, especially for Black Americans. I've posted a couple of videos below, and I've always picked this up with her and AOC. And if you really take a grandeur, and as I was listening to Reverend Tim, I always say I listen to the words people use when they describe things, because I think it further lets me know that we have a lot more pruning to do. We assume that because of people are a Democrat or a Republican, that somehow it's one or the other that these groups or even immigrants actually, when they come into the country, gravitate to. I think they gravitate to whomever is actually the majority at the time. And seeing as that the Democrat and the Republican Party have had control over the United States off and on between both parties, 23 years, 23 decades, I believe. If I looked that up correctly, no, 23 times, excuse me, and then one 25 times. So Democrats had control 25 times, Republicans had control 23. And so when you look at those years that they had to have gone through legislation, people being voted in on the state level, who have the ability to have control, both state and federal. None of the parties were actually in the interest of the descendant community unless it was beneficial. And the people who join them also do the same thing. They come in and they practice the same superior or supremacy tactics, and they take over communities, and they insulate and isolate. And Ilhan is no different. She actually even was utilizing the deaths across the country. She would show up at the rallies, get the votes, just for showing her presence, and then bam. And then the backing that she has, hearing about her connection with Jewish backing money, that makes sense as to why she keeps getting voted in. The problem is that no one in the Somali community, I think, has brought these issues up because they don't have our lens. They don't have our history. They are also in the country by way of, as they call it, escaping genocide or escaping war and things like that. But they come into our country and somehow have a conversation that is very degrading towards Black Americans. Even a man that was here running in Virginia for Congress during the time that I was on the campaign with Marcel, Tamir, and Reverend Somerville, he wanted support for him, and he wanted me to assist him. He was Somalian, and he wanted me to come and have the conversation with the community. And I'm like, but you're running for a position where you're representing everyone, so why would I need to come and use my voice for just your community? And again, I noticed these tactics. I noticed these are the things that happen, and it's happening with even other groups. Our voices are being used, our essence is being used, but none are actually worried and concerned about our condition, because it has not changed. It does not matter if you are Democrat or Republican. They all have had the same results. They all have turned out the same results, and our condition is still the same, except for slavery. We do have civil rights bills and laws, and we do have our amendments, but the people who are in positions of authority are only able to use them if they're in a position of authority for the benefit of the people they care most about. And if you look at who these people are using them for, it is not the American people. It is not. It was posted a video about a Latin Republican who shut down, I think, Barbara Lee because she didn't want to hear her talk about Cuba. And the woman was highly yelling and talking about Castro. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you serving in the United States government able to shut down an American? I don't care if you don't agree with her politics. I don't care if you don't agree with what she says and what she doesn't do. But if you have dual allegiance, and this is what I do agree with the gentleman that was on stage, you should not be able to serve in the American government, because you cannot do that nowhere else. Nowhere else can we show up with dual citizenship and say, I want to run or be in a position in any other country, and they will actually allow us to start talking about what the other country needs to do to have a foothold in America. It's not going to happen. You'll never see that happen here. It's happening here. People need to get a grip and understand that both parties are responsible. They are both responsible. And we don't let people into America. You illegally come here, and you come here and you stay. Because as easily as the door opens back the other way. You don't leave. And then we get the brunt of whatever happens here, because you're experiencing civil rights issues. You're experiencing genocide, or someone harm you, or police stopping you. But yet, Black Americans are always the fall. So it'll be interesting. She needs to go. she most certainly needs to be removed. And if you ask me, any person who has dual citizenship should also be removed. You should not be able to have dual citizenship on the federal or state level. And that's where I stand.
All right, thank you, Ro. Like I said, if you get a chance, unblock him as well too, because he was up in the speaker section, so he was going to speak, I guess, tonight. Appreciate you, Rella. Let me go ahead and get to I guess somebody just was disconnected. So let me go ahead and get to Mustafa and anybody else that wants to come up here and speak as well. Come on up here, raise your hand. We'll get to you as well, guys.
Thank you very much. I'd like to give a shout out to the Reverend Black Majority and even One Love for speaking intellectually. I'm not coming out here to bash Ilhan. She's not much to me anyways. But I do want to talk to a gentleman earlier who said, who keeps saying, or a lot of people who keep saying that all these Somalis are the same. That's like a white person saying all the black people are the same. No different to me. You asked me if I know the facts or the history. I'm going to ask you if you know the facts or the history. Somaliland was a country long before 300, 400, 500 years ago, right? But that's the past. Why I don't want to be called a Somali is because I'm not a Somali. There's a difference. What bothers me the most is somebody who generalizes people. We may all be black people. We may all originated from Africa, okay, but we're not all the same. We don't talk the same. We don't look the same. We don't have the same, goals. We don't have the same ambitions. We're different people. We were made that way. But it's our differences that makes us unique. One of the brothers said that put your tribal aside, put your differences aside. That's exactly what Somaliland is. Somaliland is a group of people who got together, who put their differences aside and said, rather than fight between clans and tribes, let's exist and develop and grow. You know what I mean? There's something about watching your grandkids growing up in front of your grandkids, watching life develop. This woman, this congresswoman, uses a platform that you guys worked hard for. I'm Canadian. I'm not an American, right? But I sympathize with you because you guys are the ones who get stopped by the police, not her. You guys are the ones that have to get up at 7 a.m. every morning. Otherwise, you get fired. She doesn't. She takes your tax money that you work hard for every day that you get deducted and then goes on a plane trip to talk to the enemies so it can get you politics, right? Because this is all about politics. It's bullshit, right?
Hey, try not to curse.
My bad. It's PS, right? So what she's trying to do is drag America into a war that they have neither won it, neither. As a matter of fact, America should be thankful because if it was up to Somalia, you would have pirates on that route so much that by the time you go to Walmart or any other store, right, it would be $100 just to get a box of napkins. But it was Somaliland and their army and their noble, which means, by the way, we get zero from America. It's not like we get money from America for protecting the ships that come across the Red Sea. We get zero. But it was our Navy, right, using the worst of the worst, weapons that protect. There's something about someone's dedication that says, not on my watch. You know what I mean? That's beyond money. Well, Somalia sends in pirates where the ship, insurance goes up. And then at the end of the day, it's passed on to the consumer. It's passed on to the poorest of the poorest. It's passed on to the people who work hard for their money. right? So in actuality, you guys, you've been robbed twice. You got your votes robbed because you had a pretender who says, "I'm going to stick up for you and help you out," but at the end, she only had a goal to help out her, genocidal country or territory, and then she's using your tax money to fund and send weapons. Be honest, how do you think they got all those weapons? During the COVID, you guys had weren't they convicted of a 250 million money scam, something that was meant for kids to feed the kids? Wasn't it a group of people in Minnesota? It's the same people. It was the same people who were chanting, "I can't breathe," in a crowd when they were making fun of, a man who was brutally murdered on TV. It was the same people who didn't help you when they were there. I'm in Canada. I would fight for you if you were here fighting for your rights. For the guy who said, "Where were you in 1960? 1960, we were fighting them," right? My grandfathers, my uncles, they were in jail because they were trying to stand up for me. So it's not like we neglected you. We had our own battles, right? Communication wasn't that great. It's not like, thanks to this platform that all of us around the world can share this and, talk about our problems and come in a commonality and say, "Hey, you know what? I agree with you," or "No, I disagree with you." We didn't have that. We barely even had a phone. Nobody had a cell phone. Nobody had a video camera, right? I can say the same thing. When I was getting bombed by planes, where were you? If this was about black, united black, if this was about greater, black, nations, if this was about greater Africa or Pan-Africa, which I don't believe in because it's another bullshit. Colonization just moved from the white guys.
Hey, you gotta watch the cursing, but go ahead.
My bad. I'm a religious person, so for me to swear it means my blood just raced up.
Land that plank, bro.
Yeah. So I apologize for that. But if you want to talk about facts and history, don't call me a Somali. I'm not a Somali. It's like saying the Jamaicans and the Trinis are the same or the Guyanese are the same. It's like saying the Ethiopians are the same as the Nigerians. They're not. Right? We might come together by the same color, but it doesn't mean anything unless we have the same common beliefs, respect for one another. This guy says all the Somalis. No, they're not. Somalia is one. Somaliland is a different country.
So let me ask you a question. Over all of the years that you guys have been in that general area, you guys have never intermingled, never married, never had kids, anything like that?
No, they do. They intermingle. Okay, I'll give you a 20-second history. In the 1960s, right, when we wanted the English out and, we had a partnership, what happened was our forefathers decided to go and join to have a greater Somalia, to bring back a land that was given away by the colonization where they drew the lines. They didn't agree with it. They figured if we form one, we'd be big enough to form and get back the land we lost. That didn't turn out right because then they stayed with, the lines the borders that were drawn. So what happened, instead of, creating a better life or so that way, and at that time, attacks and invasions was happening between the African countries, right? So we used it for protection, but in actuality, they had a different mindset. We were, less than 5 million. They were 3-4 times the size of that. So they said, "Hey, why not occupy?" It's exactly what's happening in Israel today. It's no different. The Palestinians got overpowered and they occupied it. But we didn't rest there, so we fought back until we literally got them out. 3,000 militia soldiers literally took the government down. You don't have to believe me, you can read it.
All right. But we got to move on, but I appreciate that. Thank you. And we get a chance to raise your hand back up and we'll get to you. let me go ahead and get to Lynn. I'm gonna get to you, and I'm gonna get to Reverend Tim, and then we're gonna get to the new speakers up in here as well too. And guys, before I get to Lynn, them, like I said, we got a bunch of people up in here. For those that can contribute on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We got over 100 and some odd people up in here. So if you got $1 that you can contribute to the actual platform, the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America, it is greatly appreciated. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Peace to my man Trenton Makes. Thank you, Trenton, for your contribution as well. Let me go ahead and get to Lynn. Lynn, you don't be too long-winded because we got to go ahead and get to the other speakers as well, to you, Reverend Tim, and then we got some new speakers as well.
Yeah, and that's it. So I just want to say, going back to IlhanOmar and the comments that she made, right? So as Mustafa was saying, we protected our coasts. 1/3 of the world shipping route is through the Gulf of Aden. We don't have piracy. We've protected it. We protected the land from Somalia and the Al-Shabaab group. So we have a president, we have a navy, we have passports, we have our army. We are, in actual fact, everything that's a country. We even have our own banking currency, right? So there seems to be an issue with Ethiopia that they couldn't get access to the sea from Eritrea. Djibouti was charging them billions, and they have a population of more than 120 million, whereas we have a population of about 8-7 million, roughly, I'm guessing, right? So Somalia also refused to give them access to the sea. So we made a deal with our brothers, Ethiopian brothers, our neighbors. 1/3 of Ethiopia, I reckon, is Somali as well. Somali speaking, in any case, not my ethnic group, but they're Somali speaking. So it's good for the economy, it's good for business, it's going to create jobs. Not only that, there seems to be, I think, 2 Americans were killed, I think, in either the Gulf of Aden or the Indian Ocean, I'm not too sure. So Somalia had to look for them and their bodies. I think they were kidnapped by pirates or something. So it's a lot for an unrecognized country, formerly unrecognized country, to protect 1/3 of the world's shipping route, keep it free from pirates, from Al-Shabaab, while protecting their borders from Al-Shabaab, keeping it free from pirates. Then all of a sudden now we have the Yemenis who are on the other side of the Gulf of Aden, the Houthis or something like that, right? So it's a lot. So obviously Ethiopia is our neighbor country. The landlords, obviously, they're going to make their own naval base. So we made a deal with the Ethiopians to give them a naval base. I think the French are also helping them with some things like that. The Emirates have
Lynn, can I ask you a question? A Newstoter, if it's okay? May I ask her a question?
Real quick.
It's just real quick. In all of that you said, what is the benefit to the America? What is the benefit in the position?
It has nothing to do with America. The problem is the speech that IlhanOmar made, which was really racist.
Well, that was the only right, and that was the answer I wanted from you, and the reason why I wanted that answer, and I needed you to say that, is because that is the focus, and I think that we keep missing that the structure of what's happening over in the different countries in Africa, and the rebuilding or the colonization that's happening there. You have people like Ilhan who do not make it her business to utilize any of the connections there to do her bidding, and that none of that will benefit Black Americans here. It won't even benefit, to Black Pressure's point, the people who actually come over to the America from those countries to benefit from what's happening in restructuring over there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
It doesn't benefit you, but it became international because she basically threatened Kenya, Ethiopia, parts of Djibouti, the Somalilanders, by supporting Somalia, saying because Somali people, speaking Somali people, live in Djibouti, they live in Ethiopia, they live in Kenya, they live in Somaliland, many countries, they live in Somalia, right? So she's saying,
well, Rella, let her finish real quick so we can get to the other hands too. But Lynn, go ahead. go ahead real quick because we got a bunch of other hands we need to get to.
Yeah, so basically what she did was threaten war.
But,
She wanted to free those.
but Lynn, it's gonna affect African Americans. If Ethiopia and Somaliland.
Okay, Edna, whoever's speaking, y'all gotta keep your mic muted. We'll get to you. Put your hand up, but we gotta go ahead and let this speaker go so we can go ahead and get to the other speakers in here as well too. Lynn, go ahead. I'm gonna give you 50 seconds to finish it.
I'm just gonna let Edna explain how it's gonna affect African Americans. I feel like she's affecting us, and we don't want her involved in our stuff and involving the American government or involving the American people, telling people that doing America's bidding, that they're declaring war on Kenya, Ethiopia, and Djibouti and Somaliland, that they're gonna commit genocide, that they're being racist towards people. We are trying to build the Horn of Africa. We're trying to build the economy. We're trying to create jobs. We're trying to protect our seas. This is what we're trying to do. Why is this congresswoman in America giving hate rhetoric on the internet about an agreement between two countries? We love Ethiopia. We don't have issues with Ethiopia. Ethiopians were the people that protected our people when there was genocide. So they are our brothers, they are our neighbors, they are the first people that is going to be there when everything goes wrong. So if they need access to the sea, we need them as well. It's going to happen. Why is she in America protesting about it? And that's what I was going to say. I want to let Edna explain it better.
Wait, now Edna, hold on, because Edna, we got the order here. So Edna, we're gonna get to Edna too, but we got some other speakers before we get to Edna. I'm gonna get to Reverend Tim, and then we got to go get to the new speakers, and then we'll come back around to Edna because we got some new speakers that's waiting as well too. So Reverend Tim, go ahead and mute your mic. But yeah, hey y'all, we have a certain order we got to maintain in here. We'll get to everybody.
Can you add me to the queue because I can't raise my hand?
Okay. I didn't know you was okay. Yeah, I'll put you up here. I'll get you as one of the new speakers too. Go ahead, Reverend Tim.
Thanks, man. I wanted to answer Black's question. But first, I want to give a shout out to Mark Oliver. He's in the room. He's in Minnesota also. Shout out to the Urban Conservative. They both can also speak on the topic. But Black, you asked me about Don Samuelson. They've pitched Don Samuelson basically as a Republican, and you know how that works. You know, you speak Republican around Black folks, they will shun him big time. So that's pretty much why Don is where he's at. I mean, he's going to run again. He's been on the city council. He's done a lot. He sued the police department, sued the city because they didn't have enough police department. So that pissed a lot of people off. Don has rubbed a few people in the administration the wrong way because, you know, he's a bull in the china shop. Don don't really take any mess. So they're going to do everything they possibly can do to make sure Don is not viable in the election. And I know you say, well, 3,000 votes she won by, but here, those 3,000 votes could be 6,000, bro. The way things work here in Minnesota. And like I said, the minute they tried to, you know, put that Republican label on him, it's just like me coming in here telling y'all I'm a conservative. Everybody in here will have a fit. So it's the same thing with him the minute they said that. So because they put it that way, if he goes and he asks for the Republicans, asks for any help from them, any money from them or anything, then they're going to cave. Then they're just going to run him up the butt with him being a Republican. And because the Republicans here in Minnesota are so stupid, because they're so weak, because they're pathetic, you don't want to be labeled a Republican here in Minnesota at all. Especially if you're Black. You know, I was in Newstoter room a couple nights, a few days back, and I had somebody about to run me on me being a conservative. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why it's hard for Don to get his feet going to actually take her out to win this thing, because that's what they do. They label anybody the Democrats don't like running against them. They're going to call them a Republican, or they're going to put some type of Republican label on them, or they're going to make them seem like that they're Republican. They'll figure something out that candidate agrees with a Republican, and they'll run it to the dirt. So you can't be a Republican here in Minnesota running for anything. You can't be anywhere running for anything as a Republican and then trying to win. But in her case, we should get behind her, get behind Don Samuelson. You're right. I know Don. I've been to Don Samuelson's house. I've been in his backyard when he's held political parties and things of that sort. That's the problem, man. Us black people here have to start seeing the light, and we got to get from up under these liberal Democrats who call us people of color. This is what they do here in Minnesota. So they label us as people of color. So therefore, if we get something, everybody under that label gets something. We never get anything for ourselves. There's nothing here that we've got for just strictly African Americans, strictly FBA, strictly ADLS, nothing. Everything we get here in Minnesota, they get. They get things that we don't get. They even got their own mall. They got their own mall. What do we get? We get nothing. I'm sorry. We got Juneteenth as a holiday in Minnesota. Nobody asked for it. We asked for a George Floyd bill. They still ain't got that for us. I land there.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Tim. To everybody in the space, guys, we're going to probably limit each speaker to about 3 minutes because there's a bunch of hands up. By 10:15, we're going to be closing this space out for the night because we don't do the 4-5 hour spaces like that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get to the speakers. We're going to give you guys 3 minutes to go ahead and talk. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this space out for the night. It's been a pretty good space, and I'm glad that we got a bunch of people from all over the world that's been up in this space as well, too. So let me go ahead and get to No Taxation. No Taxation, how you doing tonight?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, what's going on, everybody? All my usual suspects. I just love y'all. Y'all are up in here talking about important things. That's when I want to show up and listen and talk and participate. I hope everybody's 2024 is going well. I'm going to say this to the Reverend, then I'm going to say what I got to say and get off. Rev felt like y'all need to come out from Brownsville folks. I mean, if you don't have it, had it been me, and I was in your position, I would have found me a blue dog Democrat that was popular and ran it. And you'd have got some money like that because they probably want to get rid of her on the Hill after she said this. But the problem is she's married to that Jew. And he's a Democratic political consultant for years. And, he left his wife for her. Oh, she's scandalous. Way more than y'all know. Okay? And so, it's going to be hard to unseat her just because she married well. Okay? And they don't put her in charge of her people because they can't control them people out there. Okay. So that's what the game is over there. But anyway, that was for real. This message that I'm getting ready to say is for my people, my FBAs, my Black First, my Negroes, my Freedmen, my ADOS, my Black Americans, us. And we have people listening, I'm sure, but this message is not for them. So they need not reply. Remember when I told y'all in December, in these Newstoter spaces, that the next 6 months were going to be the hardest 6 months politically that have ever been in this country? Y'all remember I kept telling y'all that? This is one. We cannot afford to take our eyes off our movement. We cannot. We can't afford it, y'all. We can't afford to get involved in what these folks got going on around here with the Somalis, with the LGBTQ. None of it. None of it. None of it. Okay? We can't do it. We cannot do it. We cannot afford it. We've come too far. We're at the precipice. We've got to hold on and continue our fight. Because even if we wanted to help somebody, we couldn't. We're not in a position to do so. We love to help. That's why everybody is on our wagon. That's why they come to us. Because we know how to give help and we give good help. But at this point in our Black American, FBA, Negro, freedmen lives, we can't afford it. Because see, we got a genocide going on over here. Y'all know it. And keep that in the front of your mind, not in the back. Keep it in the front. And like I said, this next 5 months now is going to be critical for all of us in every way. Okay? And I love y'all. That's it. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As always, no taxation. Glad to have you up in the space. Let me go ahead and get to Stephen, I think. Stephen, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, brother.
Stephen is Somali. He's pretending to be African American.
I don't know who this girl is. Lying. Yeah, we can tell. We can tell with no problem. Who's it?
Go ahead, Stephen. What you got to say?
Yeah, I was going.
Well, what happened to you there? He gone or what? Okay, he disconnected. Let's go ahead and get to let me go ahead and get to Somali Squad. Somali Squad, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah. Thank you for getting me. I'll go very quick because time is tough here. Let's work together to get this Ilhan out of that house. She's causing a lot of problem. And if you go back and look at her background, she's come from a fascist family that have a lot of blood in their hand. And now she came here, she's trying to tell them, I'm here for you, I'm here for Somalia, not for the US. This is USA. If you are here for the US, you take the US money, you have to work for the interests of the USA. But she just went straight and said, I'm working for you guys and I'll make sure they do what you guys want. You know, that's a treason right there. That's for Ilhan. So the Somaliland community and the African American, they should join together to get her out this November. That's one thing. Second thing, the US is already busy over there in the Red Sea. The reason is it's a commercial route from Asia coming through the Suez Canal. They go through right there. There is wars in the Yemen side and they're attacking all the ships. So Somaliland become very, very important at this time. And the US are even planning to have a base there because of the piracy. But in the Somaliland side, there was no piracy from the beginning. All the piracy you heard is from Somalia. All the terrorism you heard from Somalia. Okay, this Somalia government where Ilhan is supporting, they created terrorism, and creating that terrorism, they are being paid to fight the same terrorism they created. You see, that's the catch. They create a terror system, and then they are being paid $800 million from the US taxpayers to fight terror. And the same terrorists are collecting taxes with the government. So Ilhan, she's supporting them, try to make them be on top of Somaliland. She went there last December for 2022 and created war. People died. and then she come here, she speak with another language, you know. But yesterday she just falls straight into the trap, and the trap is she exposed herself, and we're supposed to, all of us expose her. We're supposed to go after her. Shout out to all of you. Thanks for having me. I'll let Edna. I think she might have more information.
Okay, we'll get to Edna in a little bit. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me okay? Because I know Rella, you were saying you couldn't hear anything. DJ, can you hear me? Black Pressure, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I had to restart my phone and everything. I stepped out for that.
I hear you fine.
Okay, Rella, it might be your phone. So Rella, if you want to maybe drop down and come back up or whatever, it could be your phone having issues. Guys, we have one.
Before when I said drop me down though.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
We so far we had one person that donated to the platform tonight. We can sure use a couple other people. Like I said, if you got $1 that you can donate to the platform, guys, it is greatly appreciated. The platform is more than a Twitter space or a YouTube channel. The platform is actual Newstoter.com. Make sure you visit it daily to stay up to date on breaking Black news. Over 30 some odd posts was tweeted out on the actual X platform today, guys. So like I said, we can't tweet out all the content. We can put some of it out there, but we need you guys to actually visit the actual site to help us go ahead and help you stay up to date on breaking Black news as well too. So like I said, we had one person that donated, and we've had over in this space right now, we got well over 100 and some odd people, and we're trying to get at least a couple people to donate $1 to the platform. $ Newstoter. This is on Cash App. $ Newstoter. $ Newstoter. Once again, $ Newstoter. For those that can donate $1, if you got something you can spare. If you don't have Cash App, we have the PayPal and Venmo up in the Jumbotron. Also from the people on YouTube as well. $ Newstoter. $ Newstoter. And if you don't have Cash App, we have the PayPal and Venmo up in the actual description on YouTube as well. Real quick, we got a couple. Let me give a shout out to Fabia, Shannon, and Thias for your contributions on Cash App, guys. Definitely appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Fahima. Fahima, are you still up here, Fahima?
Yes, thank you very much for allowing me to make a few comments. I'd like to preface my comments by saying, as an African American woman of African descent, I don't know the geopolitical dynamics in Somalia and Somaliland, nor do I know the particulars on the ground in Minnesota. So I'm not going to comment on that. But I do find it interesting. I know the minister said that, quote unquote, the Jews were supporting Ilhan Omar, and that's how she maintained her election. But I know that she's been under attack and under fire by AIPAC and Zionists since she's been in Congress. And from what I understand, her husband, Tim, was a Christian, and he converted to Islam after they got married. He's not Jewish. The other thing is that, one of the people did address that, the Somalis were dealing with their own issues in 1960, so of course they wouldn't have been here lobbying for the conditions of their African brothers and sisters. And I just think it's very telling. I just got 2 more points. Very telling that Ilhan Omar is being criticized. Someone criticized her for supporting Black people who were murdered by the police, George Floyd and others, when they often say, oh, well, they don't, quote unquote, why aren't they speaking out about the things that impact us? You can't have it both ways. And the last thing I want to say, and I know that some people are not going to like my comments, the host, you said that these people, they're the same. Well, you're going to tell them that they're the same while you're distancing yourselves from Black people who may have been on the same slave ships your ancestors were and just dropped off at other places. I think that that's really very interesting. And I'll land there.
All right, Fahima. What you was going to say, DJ? You want to say something? Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
It's not real interesting, Fahima. If you just happen to get online and use Google as your friend, it ain't Black Americans or what you say, African Americans. It ain't us that up here on the internet every day saying, hey, I'm not black. It ain't us every day that's laughing at our people, meaning Negroes here. Look at George Floyd. That nigga got killed in the street like a crackhead. That's not us. It's coming from these other people. And I'm not saying it specifically as people here in this room.
And I want to touch up when you say something too as well.
So with that being said,
Now hold on, Fahima. Hold on, Fahima. Wait a minute.
You don't even have to clap back for him because it ain't nothing to rebuttal about. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, family. Y'all know what time it is. Only Eminem gang getting paid, yo. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even got to say anything.
And hold on, Fahima. Hold on. Hey, Fahima, hold on. When you was talking, he didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you. So hold on 1 second. And then let me add this real quick, what he said as well, too. I concur with what he said. For years, black people, black Americans, more so than any other group in this black group in this world, a black person came here and they considered them black. It was other black people that came here and said, you know what? I'm not like y'all. I'm different. I come from my own country. I come from my own tribe. I come from this. I come from that. For years, black people said, hey, you black, we're gonna treat you black. And for years, black people, other groups of black people came over to this country, and to this day, they still benefit from the struggle, from the slavery, from civil rights, from Jim Crow, from segregation, from the black codes, from all of that black people in this country went through. So when you're sitting up here saying, yeah, we were the ones that say, and maybe that's our fault. We were the ones that say, hey, you know what, y'all black. And no, I ain't black. I ain't like you. I wasn't a slave. I wasn't a slave as long as you were. So come on, don't sit up here. We were the ones that set up here because we figured that, hey, we got reinforcements coming over here. We got somebody that's gonna watch our back. Somebody that had a similar experience. Maybe they didn't go through what we went through with chattel slavery in this country, but they went through some kind of form of slavery or colonization or something. It was other black people that say, hey, you know what? Y'all not like me. Y'all are slaves. Y'all are this or y'all are that. So yeah, let's not sit up here and say, well, because this person got dropped off from a different ship and you're trying to differentiate yourself. People have been differentiating themselves from black Americans for the longest time in this country. Black people looked at another black person. You say, oh, that person's black. It was the other black person that said, you know what? No, I come from a culture. You don't have a culture. So let's just keep it a buck. And real quick, before I let you respond, I'm gonna let you respond real quick because we got hands up. So don't cut me off. I'm gonna give a shout out to my people that support the platform. I'm gonna give a shout out to Black Press. I'm gonna give a shout out to Stephanie. I'm gonna give a shout out to Miss Trigger. I'm gonna give a shout out to NIC Mag. I'm gonna give a shout out to Lady Original. Now, please tell me that we're lying, that these people didn't say that.
Okay, two things. I'm not going to check Google. I'm going to check primary resources. I'm going to get up in the archives at the Library of Congress.
I'm sorry. This is about to be real fine. Mute your mic, sister.
No, don't. Hey, let unmute her. No, wait, hold on. Unmute her because you can check whatever fact. You can check Congress and this and that. I can check real life. I'm here in Florida. You know, I've been around all types of different black people my whole life. So unmute her mic because I want to hear what she say. You can check Congress. You can check this or that, but real life.
The gentleman told me to check Google. I'm not going to check Google because everything on Google is not correct.
Well, hold on a second. Google is correct because I didn't tell you to go check any historical facts. I said, because you said that that's real telling. I said, well, go research Google to see who is talking ish to who. You see what I'm saying? That's what you said. So if you just happen to go on Google or YouTube or Facebook, any of this other stuff, you will see that is others versus Black Americans. It ain't us making video saying, hey,
yeah, let her finish. Let her finish.
You can make the comment all you want, but if you don't want to be accountable, that's another thing. We know right or wrong.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Google is not a primary resource. Now, I've heard, and I'm not saying that there haven't been people that have said those things, but I've heard white supremacists who have been saying these things about George Floyd being a crackhead and dying from fentanyl. But I also observed when people have said, like Lex Alonso, that yes, he's of Cuban ancestry, but he is black first. I've heard people say, no, you're not black. I've heard this specious movement that has come about within the last 5 years, telling people that they are Black. And you have the right to define yourself in the spirit of self-determination, but you do not have the right to tell other people who they are. And I'll land there.
And I've heard and I've heard and hold on. I'm here in Florida, and I've heard for over 30 some odd years, other people said, hey, you know what? I'm different than you. I come from an actual culture. No, we're not the same. This and that, and that's not all, because a lot of Caribbean Black people I met would say, yeah, I'm Black, and just like you, and this and that. But I have also heard these people say, other people say, I'm not like you. I've heard African people say that as well too. We're different. So as much as you've heard otherwise, we've heard the same as well too. And no, we're not saying that's every single solitary. We're not saying that's every single solitary Black person that comes from the diaspora, but there are some that say that as well too. And to sit up here and say that, hold on real quick. And to sit up here and say that that's not true. That's not true what you're saying, because I've heard it. I've had friends that were Caribbean, and I've asked them what their parents thought about Black Americans. People that I was best friends told me that, yeah, they think that y'all are lazy, and they think that y'all come up with all kinds of excuses, and they think that you just blame everything on being a slave and this and that or whatever, and they don't understand how you blow opportunities and this and that or whatever. So as much as you heard, and like I say, I was born and bred, I'm 4 generations deep in Florida, okay? 4 generations deep. Before you had this explosion of immigration, my people was up in this state. So I've heard it all, what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that that's not true.
I haven't had, listen, my hand was up and I
can't.
Hold on. Rella, I'm gonna let you go right after her. I'm gonna give her 50 seconds to land her plane, and then you got it.
I'm not saying that there aren't people that have said that and think that way. I have not said that there aren't people that have said that and feel that way. I repeat, I've not said that there are people from the continent and the Caribbean who have not said that and feel that way. And I will say this, to your credit, you are a lot more reasonable than some of these other folks, because I've watched this thing since 2019. And there's a lot more I can say, but I'm not going to. I've watched this since 2019, and I will give this to you. You are a lot more reasonable and measured than some of these other folks. And I'll land here.
All right, thank you. And I've said it before too, and I know people disagree. And really, I got you. I'm going to let you get it. I've said it before that I myself, I have met many people from the islands that I consider to be like family, that I'm tight with. So I'm not going to generalize every person that comes from the island, because most of them I was cool with. I'm not going to generalize everybody that comes from the continent, because most of the ones I've met I've been cool with. But when there are those that go to tap dancing, and there are those that go to tap dancing and showing their pearly white teeth, then I go ahead and I will air them out. So that's the only thing I'm gonna say. But let me go ahead and get to Rella real quick. Let me give a shout out to Kenneth as well too for his contribution on Cash App. Go ahead, Rella, and then Brother C, I got you as well too, Brother C. So I don't I got you coming up as well. Go ahead, Rella.
It'll be real quick, and I want to say this. I need people to stop trying to demonize, people who utilize search engines, because you can actually access the Library of Congress, and you can access even some of the works of university libraries online. And so I think that it is a disservice. In my submission, I'm saying it's a disservice to try to have a true state argument by trying to mudsling about how resources are gathered and information is gathered by trying to demonize somebody emotionally, intellectually, or subjectively. The other thing is as you were speaking, you said people don't have a right to tell someone who they are and how they should identify. But for over 157 years, close to 200 years, even after Jim Crow, Black Americans, the freedmen population, prior to us coming into the language that we are now using in delineation, people are trying to tell us how and who we should identify as. Even people who are globalists and Pan-African. And it's very, very telling because it is a part of that erasure that people don't like to talk about. And you like to censor things around African this, African that, instead of addressing people in the country as you were talking about issues in America. So I do believe that that same argument, you should stand in a mirror and you should repeat what you said. And you should definitely see how that is a reflective talking point that actually can be utilized and put towards other people who keep doing that to Americans. People who are of an amalgamation of people separated from generations and generations of people that they have a culture that is being always adopted every day by different people. They're not even pushing their own culture because it does not influence the world. What influences the world is American Black culture. And nobody knows who the freedmen are. No one knows our issues individually as you are speaking to each and every one of us who picked up our phone to get on this stage tonight. And we are real people. But they are allowed to get on media access areas of TV and call people Russian bots because we're calling for reparations and we're calling for the acknowledgement of the world to realize that we have been so impacted that people want to just usher us all under one umbrella while ignoring and erasing us all at the same time and telling us we have to acknowledge them. We have to acknowledge other cultures and other groups and their ethnicities and the different places that they come from and their issues. So I don't like that. I don't like it, and I don't like people trying to pit others against each other and say, okay, well, you have someone that's you're a little bit more palatable because I can talk to you. Most times, people are always palatable. They're responding in emotion of what you're saying because they cannot reflect your perspective. They do not understand your perspective because we are not all experienced the same. Our lineages might be planted here, but they're totally different. People need to respect that. That goes for us too, Americans, Black Americans who believe in Pan-Africanism, who believe in pushing, the global movement. Stop erasing our identity and our experience here in America when you're having your conversation. Ilhan.
All right. I don't know what that was in your background, Rella, but
Rella said she was worshiping the devil. That's what it was.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to brother she, I think that is brother 777.
I have my hand up for a long.
Go ahead, brother.
Absolutely not, ma'am.
This is Brother Che. Che. Thank you so much for this time. I'm going to take three quick points. One, I was at the Congressional Black Caucus this last September at IlhanOmar's workshop, and I saw her husband, and I was so disappointed, and I understand he was Jewish, but he converted to Islam to marry her. Okay, that's why that disappointed me. I don't know what's behind that. Second thing, Brother Mustafa said that he didn't care that much about. He didn't believe in. He called Pan-Africanism bull BS. And I take great offense to that. My question to the Somalian people that are here, what is that? What's going on with Ethiopia wanting to work with Somaliland, which is not really recognized yet, because they want to get to the sea. And Somaliland said, well, you can use our access to the sea. And Somalia is against that. But Mustafa was saying that Somalia and Somaliland are tight, I guess, close. So I don't know what that's all about. And the last thing I want to say is I was watching POV on, it's a show on PBS. I like to watch all things African. POV stands for point of view. And they were talking about the Somali people in America. And they were talking about how the Somali people themselves were saying that they did not want to mix with African Americans. So these particular Somalis were in Idaho. Other ones are in Minnesota. You ask yourself, you're coming all the way from hot Africa, and you're going to these snow cold, snow white places. And they said they would tell the people, Somalians that are in Atlanta, some of them was on the program, they were from Atlanta, they moved to Atlanta because they didn't want their kids to mix with African American culture. Okay, and that hurt me. That hurt me because I love all things Africa. I love the Ethiopian people, Somali people, and I also Somali people and Sudanians claim they're not African, but that they're Arab. What up with that? Somebody help me out. I land.
All right, thank you. Now we can get to Edna because it's Edna's turn now. So Edna, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you so much. I think I only have 1%. I'm still working. First and foremost, I think when people lump us as Somalis, you're just pushing an imperialist agenda, to be honest. You're denying me my identity. You're denying me my culture. And you're saying that the borders that were set by the imperialists are greater than my own territorial integrity, because the imperialists came to Africa, they broke apart our territorial integrity. We had our own sovereign nations, and for their own expansionist ambitions, they made this, carved up this whatever now that is international borders in Africa. And also, I take offense to the people of the United States of America, African Americans or Black Americans, who state that Africans sold their own children. So I'm asking you guys, are you saying the mother who was, her son or child was taken?
Okay, we're losing you. I don't know if you your phone is breaking up at the.
Yeah, that's them lies she about to
Yeah, and now you're sitting up and you're talking about that app. We said that nobody hold on. Nobody in this space said anything about Africans selling their own children.
No, someone said
No, I didn't hear anybody say. I didn't hear anybody say Africans sold their own children.
Okay, I'll forget about it. But this is maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. Someone came here and said that we sold African Americans. Okay, let's forget about that. And the same person. Can you hear me? I know I'm in a very bad spot.
He can hear you. What he's saying is there is a history of a commodity being sold to the country that came out of Africa and from different countries, and that is documented. So
and it's documented on all 6 continents too.
Right, and so even if you take offense to it, you can take offense to it. It does not mean that the information is going to change. Okay?
Okay, Edna, you done?
Somebody hot pocket down. Who hot pocket down?
Okay, I think Edna, we're gonna move next. Yusuf, I see you up here. I'm gonna get the use of your new speaker. The hands that's up, that's gonna be it for the night, guys. We could have a part 2 tomorrow if y'all like. We can do a part 2 if y'all want tomorrow night.
All right, brother. I want to say thank you to, first of all, I am Somali, northern Somalia, Somaliland. Originally, that's where I'm from, but I'm American. I live in Minnesota. And I saw this title, Ilhan, says that she's putting Somali's interests first. First of all, I'm Somali and I'm American. And I can talk in my personal knowledge. Though I have joined this space a little bit later than many other people, and I might not be very familiar with, sorry, I'm in the gym, I'm a little breathing. Not sure what
the debate or the different topic that different people address. But this is what I want to tell you. One brother who was speaking earlier stated that Somalis and Sudanese are not black people. They're not proud of it and all that. Well, I can tell you that I'm from Somalia and I'm a black man. And honestly, I don't have to prove that I'm black. You can see me, and we black, of course. But there's a different discussion that we can engage. Some of the Africans from African continent who came to the United States, or even who live in Africa, may have misunderstanding about Black America, which is something that has been taught by Western media and all that. I can understand that part. And many of us who are educated and enough to understand the history realize that was misinformation and campaign and orchestrated by the Western media. But trust me, we're black and we as black as anyone else. So to make that point very clear, I want to assure you that any person from that part of the world who doesn't claim that he's black and African, then probably he doesn't understand the history. And I will agree with you. There's some people that still needs to be educated. But leaving that point, the topic that you have from this space states that Ilhan says that he is putting Somali interspersed. That's not true. That's not what she said.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what she said, sir. That's exactly, I wrote it down verbatim. That's exactly what she said. That's exactly what she said. That's exactly what she said.
I might disagree, but let me finish what I have to say, though. The Ilhan, brother and sister, let me tell you, the black people.
You said, did you listen to the video?
Oh, I listened, and I listened 10 times. But this is what I have to say, though. Let me finish that. If you don't interrupt me,
I understand. I just want to get an understanding.
Yes, I did. I did.
What video did you listen to?
Okay. See, this is a point that I wanted you to understand.
No, I want to get an understanding so you understand what we're talking about. What video did you listen to?
No. Okay. Can I finish it then? Can I go ahead and?
I want you to answer that question, or you will not finish, because we cannot have an understanding if you cannot answer the question that we are talking about. That means you're on the stage.
No, she didn't say that. No, she didn't say that, and I can prove that to you.
What video did you listen to? That's what I'm asking.
Okay. Actually, I was one of the people that was standing that place when she was talking. So can I finish it?
What place?
The place where she was making that statement.
Oh my God! Okay.
You was at the Capitol. You was at the Capitol, Yusuf.
Absolutely.
Yusuf, you was at the Capitol, right?
1 minute, excuse me. Let him go ahead and say what he's got to say.
Yeah, because like I say, hold on real quick. We're going to be closing the space out because we are going to just do a part 2 of this tomorrow night as well, too, so everybody can get it in. Because like I say, I got something to do, and we're going to be closing this space out. So we are going to do a part 2 tomorrow night on this right here again as well, too, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead. I'm going to give you a minute to finish it out. We're going to get ready to close it out because there's going to be a part 2. Everybody in the space, come back tomorrow night because I got to go ahead and close the space. I said 10:15. I had to be up out the space. So I've gone over a little bit what I said. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you 40 seconds to go ahead, Yusuf, and say what you got to say.
Yusuf, you there? Mic check 1, 2. Yusuf.
Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to take my 40 minutes out. I'm going to say very quick. See, 2 points that I want you to put out.
40 seconds.
Okay, I just wanted you to understand that the victim in around the same boat. Defending someone who's a victim is our success, all of us. So I'll say that point. But Ilhan didn't say that. What she was saying was that he was talking about the Ethiopian aggression invading Somalia. And as a Somali American and somebody who is from that part of the world, though she's American, she has every right to say things that she believes. But she did not say that she will put Somalis before because she's American and she is a congresswoman. So I understand there's some people that who have different agenda trying to smear.
No, nobody's trying to smear her, sir. She said she was here to serve the interests of Somalian people. That's what she said. That is what she said, sir. Now you're lying. You are lying, sir. That's exactly what she said in that audio. She says, I am here to protect it. I am here to. She said, I am here to. Hey, she said, I am, and I wrote it down as she was speaking. She says, I am here to protect the interests of the Somali from inside the U.S. system.
Let's go. And look, I looked at the video, didn't even listen to the audio because you got the closed caption right there on the screen. So
now you're sitting up here and you're saying you're totally changing what she said. She exactly did say that. And like I said, tomorrow night, guys, everybody, we can't get to your hands. Listen, y'all. We're gonna get ready to close this space down tonight because we're gonna be back tomorrow night. We'll have a part 2. Really, are you able to co-host tomorrow as well too? Okay, so guys, this is part 2 tomorrow night. We're gonna everybody that's in the space tonight come back tomorrow night, and we can finish everybody that's in here, and you all get a turn to speak. We will come back tomorrow night. But she most certainly said that because I took shorthand of what she was saying on that tape. So on that note, guys, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna close the space down. Part 2 will be tomorrow night.
Hold on.
No.
I gotta say what I gotta say real quick. Everybody, mute your mic.
He was asking what time.
Oh, what time? It'll be the same time. It'll be 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. The space will be taking place. It will be It'll be also streamed on YouTube as well, too, guys.
8 o'clock sharp p.m. East Coast time. But just real quick before you close, I just said it for the record straight because this space is recorded. Fahima, no one said that you said that, but you did imply about what it is we're saying over here about delineating. So we never said that a day in our life. We always welcome people, as you heard Newstoter reiterate. So with that being said, the actual information is on Google, YouTube, Facebook, all these other places about how other races and demographics in other countries feel about Black Americans specifically. I never said anything about literature, anything scientific. Go check this history. But I never said any of that because that's not the conversation. You said that's real telling. Well, isn't it real telling that they're the ones that's saying all this and it's not us? It ain't Black Americans running around saying that we created 50% of hip hop, Fat Joe. It ain't Black Americans running around saying that America ain't got no culture, Busta Rhymes. We are the culture, sister. We ain't got to run around say anything. We ain't even got to do nothing. But why y'all feel the need to say anything? And not all, we just saying for the ones that are up here online, because it ain't nowhere, no history books of Fat Joe saying that on record, or any of these other folks saying derogatory stuff, calling us a cotter on record. Y'all keep that to your mouth. And yes, because you know we automatically going on top of you.
Hey, but real quick, DJ, yeah, we go ahead. We got it because I got to get up out the space. Yeah.
Go ahead. End of the business. I just wanted to clarify that for the record.
But we'll get everything tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night we'll get everything. Yeah, tomorrow night we'll get everything. Everybody come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on X, and we're gonna be on YouTube as well, guys. So I appreciate everybody coming out to the space. Part 2 tomorrow night. Everybody come through. So we'll see y'all then. Have a good night. Peace.
Eminem gang getting paid.